Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the full stack development session. So before I talk about this word call, what exactly full stack development is about. So first, I would like to talk about the basic applications, software applications in IT industry. So you people might be already knowing about it. Being a programmer, we write certain programs, and those programs together create an application that would be called as a software application. So when you're talking about that kind of software applications, usually we have two styles of applications or two kinds of applications there. So they are something like you have a calculator and something like paint or some media players, etc. So these are one category of applications. In the same way, we do have other category of applications as well, like Gmail application or Facebook application or something like IRCTC or Book My Show, etc. So these are also Twitter handle. So they are also software applications. So what exactly the difference between these two styles of applications? So before getting into its technical aspects, just by looking at those examples, we can come up with an idea like the first category. If you wanted to run these applications, you don't require any internet. But when you're talking about these applications, second category of applications, we must and should use internet to run these applications. So the first category of applications are known as standalone applications, and the second category of applications are called as web-based applications, or we can call them as web applications. So why exactly this internet, and why internet is not required for the first category? That is very simple. In order to work with this standalone applications, what we need to do there is simply we need to install certain software in one computer, one machine. So assume like this is your computer. So inside this computer, whatever the software you wanted to install, you will be installing it. Once you will be installing it, and you can able to run it any number of times you want. So it whenever you wanted to use it, you can able to use it. So that installation can be done separately. Like you will take one software and you'll be installing it later, or sometimes along with the OS, certain softwares will be installed. But whatever it is, that will be installed once, and you can able to use it any number of times on your own. But when it comes to that second category of applications, if we wanted to work with such applications, at a time, two systems must be in connection, or two systems must be in working mode. So they are, one is a system which is with you, and we have one more system is also there, which might be located at some remote place actually. That system is called server machine, or we call it as server system. And the system which we are using is called a client machine or client system. So these two systems must be in connection with each other in order to serve the requirement. That is like working of the web application. Now, so I'm talking about okay, server machine and client machine. What exactly this client machine and what exactly this server machine is about? So inside this client machine, generally we open something called a browser. We'll be entering the browser, opening the browser, and there we'll be entering the IP address or domain name of the server machine. For example, you wanted to connect to the Gmail server. Then what you will do in your client machine, you will be opening the browser as already it is connected to the internet. Then you can simply type whatever the domain name you want. You can able to type that like www.gmail.com or something like facebook.com, whatever you wanted to connect, you'll be typing. So then what happens, the connection will be established from your machine to the server machine. Then here inside the server machine already certain programs are written. So for example, you open that Gmail or something kind of application where assume you don't have the account. Then what you will be doing, you'll be clicking something called registration or sign up page, and there you'll be keep on entering your details over there, right? And at the end you will be submitting those details by something like button called register here, right? Then the moment you'll be clicking all such details and all, then what happens, your data will transfer from your client machine to the server machine. The data will be transferred. Once the data reaches the server machine, what exactly this server machine will do here is, this server machine will be containing certain programs over there. Like for example, in order to do this registration activity, there will be one module or one program will be there called registration program. What exactly this will do is, this will take the data, whatever it comes from the client side, and if required, it calls the database. There would be the database, and if required, it will be calling the database, and it will store the data into the database in terms of like users table or whatever it is, whatever the way it was defined. The database, in that database, the data will be stored over there. Okay, this is one activity. Next, assume like tomorrow again you wanted to work with the application Gmail or whatever it is. Then what happens, you no need to register one more time, right? Then what you will do this time, simply you'll be entering your username and a password, right? Only two fields you'll be entering over there in that login page, and then simply you'll be clicking that login button. Then what happens, your username and login password will be sent from client to the server. That data will be taken here, and inside this you will be having another program to deal with login activity. Then what exactly this will do is, it will take the username and password whatever you entered now, and it will get the original username and password from the database, because the moment when we register, some data is already stored inside the database, right? So that original username and password will be getting back here, and both will be matched in this program, means both will be compared here. So for example, yeah, this is something here for the purpose of this is the register program, and this is the login program. Yeah, so what exactly this login program will do is, this will take the data which you are entering now and the original data, so both will be matched. So with that username, what exactly the password is, so if that is same, then what happens is, it will be generating a home page, and the home page will be sent back from your server machine to the client machine. So here what happens, one home page will be generated, and that home page will be sent back here from your server machine to the client machine. Yeah. Here, whatever it's been sent from your client machine to the server machine is always known as a request here. We call it as a request. And whatever it comes from your server machine to the client machine is known as a response. So if you take any transaction with respect to the web application, it is nothing but a request and a response cycle will be there. Even in your first case also, when you are doing the registration as well, when you enter the data and the moment when you click that button called register, your data will be transferred from client to the server machine. Inside the server machine, register program will take the data, right, and it stores the data into the database. And at the same time, it generates a message, normal message like acknowledgement message, like your registration successfully completed. So such kind of a message will be generated in the form of a response, and the same one will be sent from your client to the from your server to the client. This is called, response. Not only for this login or what you call like registration, for any activity, the same request and response cycle will be there. So for example, you have something called searching activity. Assume like in social media application or somewhere you are searching some name. Assume like in the list of your friends, you're just searching some name. So there, if you type something like V, something like I, then something you'll be getting the list of names like Vikram, Virat, something like weakness, something, whatever it is, those names are there, those names will be appearing over there. How that is happening, that is also same story. Those two words or two letters, whatever you enter there, that will be sent in the form of a request and will be reached the server. Server will call the inside that you have a specific module to handle that, that is like a program, like search program that will be there, and that will call the database. From that, all the friends list will be taken out, and again that will be generated as a friend list page, and that will be sent back to the client as a response. So this is what about how a complete web application works in the real-time scenario. Now you may get doubt where exactly this word called uh, full stack development. So as of now, still we have not talked about this particular word called full stack development. Yes, we are going to learn it now. So okay, here I am talking about how this web application works, server side and as well as client side. But in order to make them work like this, definitely there should be something called some programming language should be there with the help of which all these programs to be written, right? So in that scenario here, we will be having server side. Just a minute. So in order to develop anything in the server side programs, we take the help of the server side programming languages. That is, either it could be a Java language, or it could be Node.js, or it could be something like Python, or it could be anything like .NET or C++, etc. So if we use these languages, and any one of them, not required all of them, if we use these languages, then with the help of that we can able to create the server side programs. And all these server side programs together is nothing but the server side software. So in order to develop such server side softwares, we take the help of the server side programming languages here. They are uh, Java or Node.js or Python or .NET. So here it need not be only one or two. Here you'll be having so many other, what to call like programs will be written. Okay, assume like once the data comes from the client, then the in the form of a request, once the data reaches, assume like people know how to deal with that, and I'll take the data and call the database, store the data, if required, get the data from the database, again send it to the client. Okay, assume like in that way that will be done at the server side program. Next, coming to the client side. So what exactly will be there in the client side? See, server side registration, databases, and but all such things we can't see. As a user, If normal person opens any application, Gmail or Facebook or IRCTC or any application, if they open, what they can see here is they can see only home page, registration page, sign in page, contact page, about us page, like that. Some pages only they can able to see in the browser, right? So which means they can see only that website, which is outside, like for the outside people, that only, for the users normally they can see is what, only website. So what exactly this website is containing? Different web pages. So in simple words we can say website is nothing but the collection of different web pages here. So in order to develop the client side software, so to work with complete web application, you should develop client side also, and also you should develop server side. Assume like server side you are developing with help of some programming language. Now to the client side, if you wanted to develop anything, here also you need to develop a programming language with the help of program. But the work here is to develop a web page. If you know how to develop one web page, you can develop several web pages. All web pages together is nothing but the website. So in order to create such things here, we take the help of certain languages here or technologies. They are HTML and CSS and JavaScript. So here we need the help of three technologies here. Here this side you have only either Java or Node or Python or .NET enough, but one of them is enough. But this side HTML, CSS and JavaScript is required. So whoever knows these languages, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, will be developing the client side software, like that website designing and creating the web pages and all. And whoever is knowing this language, Java or Node or anything, they will be developing the business-oriented logic, like application-oriented logic, what to be done with the data, how data to be stored, and all. So in this web application, how see, if you open any Gmail, can you see what exactly the database they are using, how the data is storing in the database? No, obviously you cannot see such things, right? So that is the reason we call this entire server side things as backend development, or we call it as backend. So the people whoever is working for that are known as backend developers. And whatever we see on this web page is web application is nothing but the this one only, right? Opening the home page, sign up page, dashboard page, sign in page, all these things we can able to see over there, right? And that is the reason we call this uh, part as the front end. People can see this, right? So that's why we call it as a front end here. And the other part which we cannot see is known as backend. And in the industry, whoever works for this backend technologies or server side development are known as backend developers, and whoever works for this front end development are known as front end developers. And here one more important thing: when we are developing any programming, anything, any programming, either it could be server side or whatever it is. For example, if you take Java, so the entire development of the software or program will not done only with the pure Java. We will take the help of certain things called framework. We use that called what? Framework. Framework means it is not a programming language or not a new technology yet. Spring is not a programming language, but that is built on the top of certain technology. For example, you have Java. So in Java, Java is a programming language. So on the top of Java, you will be having something called Spring. So Spring as a framework. But pure Java, we cannot develop the entire program. Yes, we can develop, but that will, you need to write so many lines of code and all, where Spring will make your work easy. Not only Spring, guys. So if you are using any kind of programming languages, there you will be having certain frameworks will be there. So for Python, you have something called Django, and for Node, you have something like Express. For .NET, you have .NET and .NET Core will be there. Like that, for any programming language, you have a framework to help that programming language to make the things better. In the same way, coming to the front end side, here we discussed about HTML should be there, CSS should be there, JavaScript. But HTML is very simple language, which is a tag-based language, and with the help of which you will be simply adding the content to your web page, like text, images, and all. Coming to the CSS, CSS is also a very simple language, which is a property-based language, with the help of which you will be adding something like colors, background colors, alignments, with font sizes. These things only will be adding. So for HTML and for CSS, you don't require much what you like, special framework. But coming to the JavaScript, JavaScript is generally used to add the dynamic nature into our web pages. If you use HTML, it creates only static pages where you'll be having the content, people can see the content, people cannot interact with the website. So that is the reason we take the help of JavaScript to add the dynamic nature. But JavaScript is a programming language. So whatever the development we do through JavaScript can be done using plain JavaScript, but at the same time, we can even use something called frameworks for the JavaScript. So one of them is Angular, and we have one more framework also here, and that framework is known as React, or people call it as React JS. So in the industry, whoever works on these areas like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, either Angular or React are known as front-end developers. And in industry, whoever works for this Java, Spring development or Node development with along with the databases, known as back-end developers. So still that word is there, right? Full stack development. So that is very simple. In the industry, whoever works for both sides, both back-end development and also the front-end development. So they are together known as full stack developers, and such kind of development is known as full stack development. So earlier in industry, if they are working on the one side, like either back end or front end, it used to be fine. But nowadays, their employers are, their companies are encouraging their employees to learn the other side as well. For example, if they're working as a back end developer, they're asking them to learn one of the front end framework like either Angular or React and all. Or if they're already working on this side, React developer or Angular developer, front end developer, they're asking them to learn one of the back end languages. I can say they're encouraging, or I can say like they're forcing them to learn. So why? Because that is the prominence nowadays the full stack development is having, because for cost effectiveness and different aspects, they'd want the resource, one resource should be doing all these activities, the development on the front end side and as well as the back end side, and along with the database activities also. Yeah, so this is about your what exactly the full stack development is about. Next is, yeah, that's it in our course. What are the technologies and what are the things we are going to learn here? So front end side, this front end is also known as actually UI development, user interface, because user will be connecting to your entire web page, web application only through that front end. And that's why we call it as UI also. So in that part, we learn the technologies here like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript will be learning, and as part of the basic technologies, and then you will be learning something like React here as a framework. We are sticking to the framework called React, and coming to the back end here, we'll be learning Node.js as the technology. The advantage of learning the Node.js here is you no need to learn any new programming language in the Node.js environment. For React learning or for working with the front end side, we already learned something called JavaScript, right? The same JavaScript can be used at the back end also. The purpose is different, but we can use the technology, we are not going to change. So if you're talking about the other technology, you need to start it from the scratch. That will take some more time for you to learn. But when you are sticking to this JavaScript, the development on the front end side will be done with the JavaScript, and the framework also with the JavaScript, and the backend also you can able to do code you can write with the JavaScript, and Express is the framework for that. Coming to the database here, we can use any kind of database like MySQL or regular, whatever it is, and at the same time they are SQL style like relational databases. But nowadays this MongoDB is a database which is very famous, which is a NoSQL style database, where you no need to write SQL queries to interact with the database. So then how the interaction will be done is using the basic JavaScript and basic JavaScript JSON data, we can able to transfer the data and get the data. So that is also done with the help of basic JavaScript. So in simple words, I can say, like if you know one language perfectly, like JavaScript, then you can make the front end development, and also you can create backend programs, and also you can work with the database queries as well. So this will be like the complete JavaScript full stack development. But some people usually call this, if they wanted to call this kind of learning, they have a special name for this, like mean stack. So whoever already knows something like HTML, basics of HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript, then they can directly start something like starting from the React, they can learn. And actually this kind of learning usually known as one stack development. This is also a full stack man stack, but a special name is there called man stack or man stack development, whatever it is, because this is just with the names of first letters of the technology names. Like M means MongoDB, E for Express, R is React, N stands for Node.js here. So these are the things which we are going to learn in our course, guys, and as a full stack development. And sessions will be like you'll be having an interactive session, and live sessions will be there daily. And once the sessions get completed, and the same session will be recorded over there, and all the recordings will be kept in our portal, and you'll be given access to that portal. You can access those videos as well. So even after the completion of course as well, for a few months you are still allowed to access those videos. And coming to the projects in this course, and if you are starting from the basic like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then here you will be creating one project exclusively on JavaScript and all. Next, once you learn that React, you'll be creating one project called React front end project. And once you're done with the Node.js and database, then you'll be creating one project on pure backend. And at the end, whatever the application you created for the backend, for the same you create one new front end, and we'll be creating one Node.js as a backend and front end as a React together. Total a complete application will be creating. So like that, we'll be creating the projects, project 1, 2, 3, 4, like that in our course. And yeah, so every day, depending on the topic and all, I used to give some assignments, and I'm expecting you people to do the same. And if you are not getting it, no problem. The same things we'll be discussing in our next sessions. So overall, it will be about a practical session rather than a theoretical session. Whatever it's been discussed as a concept, the same will be implemented on that at that time itself. So that's it, guys. That's it from my side regarding this demonstration of what exactly the full stack development is about. And if you're having any doubts regarding this, I'm open to your questions, guys. You can unmute yourself. You can ask your questions, or you can even post your questions in the chat box window, all of you.
I'll go first. Hello, sir. My name is Mandeep, and first, thank you for this session. And my first question is that I'm from a non-IT field, and as you said, my company is forcing me to learn this as well. So, do you think this is right for me, or do I need to learn something else first and then jump into this course?
Actually, not required. If you are having the basic computer knowledge, then you can start with HTML.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And what should be the timing? Like right where I am right now, it's 12:41 a.m. So what should be the timing? Has Kumar said, what should be the timing of the classes?
No, no, you won't be having this time. It will be before 9 only. As per IST, it will be before 9.
Okay, thank you.
So you won't be covering Angular.
Hello?
Hi, you heard?
Some
Hello.
disturbance is there, Surya. Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, now tell me. Yeah, now able to
Like
hear.
you won't be covering the Angular one. Like,
No, no, we will be sticking to React actually.
okay, okay,
Any one of them is fine, but we'll be going with React.
okay, okay. But is it possible to tell Angular instead of React?
No, no,
Because
in this,
currently, like most of the companies are using the Angular, right?
no, no, no.
Like they
React.
just
The
yeah.
thing is, like, they actually started with Angular, but nowadays the companies are using React more. So that's why we're just going with the React.
Okay, okay, okay.
And what's the
But
next class? When is the next class? Like when the class is starting, or what's the next
Uh,
class time?
the administration department will let you know, okay, the exact
Okay,
timing. Yeah.
okay.
so like if we learn React, like it would be the same pattern or like it would be something
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit
No,
different.
no, 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 same pattern will be there. Little bit small
Okay.
changes, but the pattern will be same.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. So, like, if you want to go for a full stack, like this would be the most of the things we should need to cover, or is there any other
Yes.
things like we need to know about that?
No, no, these are the things enough for the developer point of view to become a full stack developer. These are the things we can learn.
Like how many days is the course?
So it will be around 2.5 months, 2 months, 10 days, nearly like that. 2 months, 2 months, 10 days.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, the daily 1 hour, right?
Yeah, 1 hour, 15 minutes, like that. Everything.
Okay, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I'm having a question. Actually, I do not have experience on programming languages, like anything, like Python, Java, Track, whatever it may be. What I heard from my colleagues or friends, with compared to Java, Python is very easy to understand and readable. It is a readable language, right? So, what you will suggest in backend? It is better to learn the person who don't know any language. It is better to learn the Python or directly to go Java itself.
So the thing is, like, if you wanted to learn only a programming language, that only for the backend, you can prefer Python, because little bit of easy syntax, but compared to Java. But the thing is, as you wanted to become a full stack developer, complete package, then anyhow you will be learning. You must and should learn. There is no escape for you. You need to learn JavaScript, definitely JavaScript and React. So JavaScript is a one new programming language. And coming to the backend, if you prefer either Python or any other thing, that again you need to learn from the scratch, which is completely different syntax, and this JavaScript will be completely different syntax. So what I'm telling, so this is not Java. I'm talking about JavaScript here. So when you learn JavaScript at the front end, the same will be used for React development, front end development, And in the backend also Node.js also the word here is node, after that you have JS, right? So which means the programming language inside the Node.js we use is again JavaScript only. So if you learn one programming language called JavaScript perfectly as a starter, then you can learn both front-end development and as well as back-end development.
Uh, Sorry to ask you. At front end we have JavaScript, right? And
Yes.
back end also we have Node.js. Is that what is the exact difference? It is difference is more or only little bit difference will be there.
Very little bit difference will be that the technology is same everything, but here you'll be writing the code for the purpose of front end activities. There you'll be writing the code for the purpose of back end activities. But the programming language, syntax, everything will be same.
Okay. And the person who knows who learn the Java, it is very easy to learn Python language, right? It could be different. Actually,
Yeah, yeah,
generally.
yeah. It will be easy for them if they already have any programming language already experience. Then learning other programming is not that much difficult. The only thing is they need to cope up with the syntax because the concepts will be almost same. They need to just work on the syntax.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Hi Kumar, could you please provide your details to Visualpath admin in a private window? Just your mail ID and as well as your phone number so that they will be intimating you regarding the class timings and further details.
Okay, sure, I will do that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You have any doubts?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah, yeah, Manadip. Hello, Manadip, you have any doubt? Yeah. Okay, guys, then yeah, that's it from my side. If you are not having any,
So,
you know,
sir, one question.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, are we going to cover the how we are going to deploy the application into the server and those things?
So deployment means we'll be creating this backend server separately and front end separately, and we'll be connecting the backend server with the front end server. So, but everything we do locally.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, locals, but separate servers. Backend separate server will be running, front end separate server will be running, and we'll be establishing the connection between the backend to front end.
okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so could you please share this, like the recording, today's recording? Is it possible?
Yeah. You can ask them. They'll be sharing
Because
it.
I can share it to my friend, one of my friend.
Yeah. You can ask
He's
them.
also interested to join. So
Yeah. You can ask Visual for that media. They will be sharing.
sure.
Kumar, you just provide your details to them, okay? Yeah.
Okay, sure, I will provide.
Okay, guys, if you're done with your queries, that's it from my side regarding this demonstration. Thank you, guys, and looking forward to meet you soon.